I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Mentorship Monday with Michelle and Maren. We should have like a whole little tune. We should have like a new opening, a new
A
tune.
little
Maybe
jingle.
not me singing it, but yeah, have a little jingle. How's it going, Maren?
Oh my goodness, it's going good over here.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but well, no, you said it's raining. Oh, I'm so sorry. It is the
yeah.
most beautiful day ever here. Like you
Is
could
it?
not pick a more perfect day.
Oh,
So, you
I gotta
know,
say, I love rainy days though. I really do.
yeah.
Like I am a rainy day girl. It makes me want to get cozy and just I don't know. My mom and I talk about that all the time. And one of my daughters, she loves rain a lot. And my mom and I always say, like, if she'll call me, which she did this morning, because we're going out to get flowers for Mother's Day this afternoon. And she called me this morning. She's like, "It's a rainy day," because we both love the rain so much. But I don't know. It just gives me a cozy feeling. I always enjoy working and doing sessions in the rain too. And maybe part of that is just rain is such a conductor. Water is a
Yes,
conductor, so I
I
find them very powerful.
I do like the rain as well, and I really like thunderstorms as well too.
Me
We haven't
too.
had many thunderstorms
We
lately.
had a boomer
Um,
this week. We had
did
like a
you?
woke up early in the morning and it was just booming. Yeah, which is kind of fun.
Oh, I wonder that had to have been the day we had like a tornado watch or something. So I wonder if that was
I think it
probably
was.
the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was. It kind of rolled over our way. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Well, speaking of storms, Michelle, have you
mm,
heard the news? There is a geomagnetic storm. Actually, well, there is a geomagnetic storm, but this is a 5 out of 5 level
mm,
geomagnetic storm, severe storm warning that's going on, that's being issued by the Weather Channel. And so what's happening is there's like a huge solar flare
mm,
that's like 16 times the size of the Earth or the diameter of the Earth, that has like a plasma ball that's shot out and it's shooting all this energy and radiation towards Earth. And now Earth
mhm,
has a geomagnetic field, so we're safe on Earth from all the radiation, but the
mhm,
satellites and whatnot that are outside the orbit could get damaged. I think Elon Musk put something on Twitter like his satellites are under a lot of stress, but they're like
mm.
hanging on. So like everybody's monitoring it. Um, there was I don't know if you saw this because you're like in the viewing zone, but Friday night there was like an aurora borealis watch. Did you
Yeah.
see
I
that?
didn't see, I heard some of it, but I didn't see it. Yeah.
Well, I was late to the news. So I
Yeah.
like the storm's supposed to hit Saturday, but Friday night was the aurora borealis, and so I thought the aurora borealis would well, it is on Saturday too, but like
Yeah.
the big one was Friday. And
Mhm.
so I found out about this on Saturday. So I'm like, "Oh man, I missed the aurora borealis." So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
It
But
is amazing. It is
yeah,
beautiful. Well, that's
so
really
we've been
interesting about this. Now, I did hear about that. I did come across my awareness this week, and it's interesting because through a lot of my sessions this week, um, Spirit brought through to a couple people about how they're affected by the solar storms and what's going on. So that would make sense because I know even in our family you can kind of, between moons and kind of what's happening, you can see how that's affecting everybody, sometimes with their skin, sometimes with illness, or even something that comes up like a flu as well.
Yeah, okay. So they say, well, for a couple things. So they do say that physically it can affect you. Like you can have like varied heart rate, you can have
Yeah.
nausea, you can have dizziness, you can have um, palpitations. So there's like a whole bunch of like physical symptoms that
Hmm.
it can cause. But then also I heard on, spiritual blogs that it can cause a whole bunch of ascension symptoms as well. Uh-oh, what is it?
It's my dog.
Oh, okay.
My dog. Her bone is like dropped over in the corner and she's like yanking her bone out and knocking things over. We'll just ignore that for a second.
Oh. Hey, one day your dog has to be our special guest. My dog's
Yes.
always a special guest.
Yeah, she's wandering around here. She's getting into trouble. And she's laying down with her bone right now, so we'll bring her up for a guest at one point.
Okay. Okay.
So
um,
sorry. Back to what
oh
we were
no,
saying.
yeah, you're fine. So you can have spiritual ascension symptoms as
Hmm.
well, which is
Hmm.
really cool, but it's kind of hard to tell because I feel like, I mean, those were my ascension symptoms were dizziness and kind of
Yeah.
like drops in blood pressure and
Yes.
like nausea and stuff. So how do you like differentiate between something where your vibrations are getting higher and something that's just caused by the electric storm?
Well, the thing is with our ascension, especially when we have the knowledge, and we've had a lot of knowledge really in this past couple years, particularly in the past 5 or 6 months, that there's been a lot more solar activity. And the way spirits brought it through for me, to help me understand, is that a lot of the symptoms that we're having right now, and um, the awakening, so there was a really big period around 2011, 2012, where a lot of people were starting to awaken and start the ascension process. So, if you're here watching this right now.
That is crazy because can I tell you, that's so funny that you say that because I
Yes.
specifically know during that period of time, because I got married in 2012.
Yep.
And I remember while I was like planning my wedding, weird, like spiritual stuff was happening to me. And I was like, this cannot be real. Like I would like have weird dreams and like,
Mhm.
which obviously I do now, but then they went silent. I'd have weird dreams and I like would like see things and oh my gosh, hear things.
Yeah.
My husband
Yeah.
said I would like scream bloody murder in my sleep. And
Mm-hmm.
like I had, oh my God.
Yep.
Anyways,
So that's a demarcation point for a lot of us, is when things
wow.
really ramped up around that time. And so, boy, my dog's really digging into something over there. Sorry.
I can't hear anything.
She's
I can't hear it.
okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what I was going to say before is, like, if you're watching this, okay, so if you're watching this and you recognize anything that we're talking about, like heart palpitations, flu, skin issues, stomach, throat, chances are you have ascension symptoms. Now, how do you differentiate? Well, here's the thing. Let's say you have a virus right now, or it's acting like a virus. Is it actually a virus? Well, it can be, and it can be both. Because the thing is that the body, as we ascend, what's actually happening is there's density within our whatever field, okay, in the physical body. So as energy comes in, and let's say there's not the solar storms going on as much as what we're experiencing right now. So as energy comes in, it's going to affect us in whatever layer, so the mental, the emotional, the physical, and we're going to have a release. So if there's a lot of density in the emotional field, then chances are there's going to be a lot of emotional releasing, a lot of emotional triggers. If it's within the physical field, and it's always going to take the path of least resistance. So if it's something in the body that needs to release, it's going to happen through an organ, through, throwing up, or whatever needs to happen. So it doesn't mean that if you get a virus and it actually is a virus, it can still be ascension as well. Because did you pick up on the virus? Was your immune system low? Like how we speak with our chakras, how everything is connected.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that's really separate. So we can't really take something and isolate it. However, when we have a situation like what's happening now with a lot of intense solar storms and with this geomagnetic storm, chances are that many of us are experiencing symptoms that are not connected to an illness or an injury or anything like that. So you might be experiencing flu-like symptoms and not really have the flu at all, because what you're
So,
doing is you're releasing.
so crazy that you keep saying the flu, because that's what Tate has, is the flu. And so Tate is sick. My son's sick. But what's so interesting is the other night I went to bed and I closed my eyes. And of course, every time I close my eyes to go to bed, there's somebody there, or something's happening. And I closed my eyes and I just saw this light. And I go, huh, that's funny. That reminds me of the light that happened when Tate was sick. And he, pointed to the sky, and that star lady came and helped heal him. I was like, that's funny. That reminds me of that light. And I went to bed and I didn't think anything of it. And then in the middle of the night, he woke up and he was sick. And I was like, huh, that is really strange that I saw that light and he's sick. And I can't remember. I do remember it wasn't just a sickness, but I can't remember what we like pegged for why he was sick the last time. And this is honestly like the first time he's been sick since that experience. Um, So there's got to be some kind of, if I'm seeing the light first, there's ascension symptoms happening, he's sick, like something's got to be happening.
Yes. But it's definitely connected, and seeing that light is letting you know that it's there's something going on aside. It's not just a virus, and he transmits a lot of energy around him, so he could be picking up on everybody else in the family, even at school, other people's energy that he's cycling through. So you find that many of us that are healers and very empathic, so we do recycle energy. So what's happening is this energy that comes in, it's almost like doing the laundry, right? Some dirty energy that comes in, we do the laundry and then we spit it back out. So it's through times like this where we have more of the solar storms, we have more energy coming in, because we are energy, we're going to feel it more, right? So we're going to feel it more in our bodies. And it also depends on, where are you at in your journey? How much space do you have in your auric field? Like, there's so many different things that really is like, why is it happening this way for Tate? Why is he experiencing like that? And maybe somebody else would experience it differently. So it just has to do with what your body, how you're registered and how you're working through the energy. And Tate is ascending. There's a lot of, so I can see right now that there's a lot of energy that flows through him. And he also he grounds a lot of energy for people too, so he's a ground for it. So it's interesting, kind of take a look as you're just kind of watching him. Watch when this light comes, what may have been going on before and after he gets sick. Like, see if there's anything going on with any kids around him or anything else like
Well,
that,
how
because
far before or after?
a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. So a
Mm-hmm.
while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not always like when we get the sickness, it's not always directed to exactly what's happening. It, there might be more of an intensity to what's happening. Sorry, there's vacuums going on.
Oh, I
So
can't hear that
I don't know.
either.
We're talking about solar storms, and I'm like, what is going on? My dog's knocking boxes down. There's vacuums running upstairs. Okay. Let me just gather myself together here so I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it's kind of a buildup of energy. So when you add the solar activity to what he's naturally doing, then there's an intensity to it, but it can be connected to 2 weeks before, 2 weeks afterwards. The same with moon cycles as well. How have you felt? How have you felt lately, physically?
I think I felt really good, actually. I don't
Yeah.
think I've not been sick. Knock on wood. Sorry, don't bark.
Yeah.
I've not been sick. I will say, if you're picking up that it's connected to me, when you say that, like, I think my husband and I got in a really big fight this week, but we
Mm-hmm.
made up by the time he got
Mm-hmm.
sick. So that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
like, how far ahead? Maybe he picked up on that energy.
Um,
We're all good now, all good
yeah,
now.
I
But
don't really feel that's really, it feels more like it's connected to school. It feels more like it's connected to other kids' energy. And it doesn't feel negative. It just feels like static. Like, so there just may have been excitement. There may have just been a really high, intense energy. Because it doesn't
okay,
feel
what
like it's
about
something like heavy.
so what about this? I wonder if this is it. They had a class, the fourth graders did like a little play kind of thing. Um, and all the school got to watch the play. And he's in third grade, so he wasn't a fourth grader, but he was watching the fourth graders with the rest of the school. And I guess two fourth graders passed out during the play.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. And so
Yeah.
that was the first thing he said to me when he came home. He was like, "Oh my God, Mom, two fourth graders passed out." I was like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Did they stop the play?" And he's like, "No, they kept going." Oh my God.
Yeah, so that would be a really good example. I'll tell you something. When I was a kid, actually, I shouldn't even say when I was a kid because it happened right up until I got married and shortly after. When I would get excited about something, or there would be something going on, like an event. So it could be a birthday, it could be the beginning of the summer holidays, and this was textbook. This happened every time. I would throw up. I would actually get sick and start throwing up. And
Wow.
it was like when I would look back, and I didn't even realize the pattern of it until I was an adult. Now, it doesn't happen anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with just being grounded and, because I have a lot more awareness with what's happening in my body and everything now. But at that time, I didn't. So looking back at it, I can understand how much I was affected by the energy flowing through me. So not only my thoughts and my excitement, but what was the event, what was going on, in everybody else's mind. Even if other people were worried about me for some reason, I would pick up on that energy and have a reaction to it. And a lot of physical reactions and emotional reactions too. But it's very interesting when you start to kind of watch the patterns and kind of look at the things that are going on, because not everybody recycles energy like that. Many empaths do. So, but we all kind of can deal with it a bit differently. Something that I've experienced this week is dizziness. Just some dizziness and a little bit of lightheadedness, but nothing too serious. Many people that I've connected with also talk about heart palpitations and dizziness. One lady was telling me how nauseous she felt, and she
Yeah.
thought that maybe she had something, and spirit was saying, no, that's ascension. And what do you do about it? Like, what do you do when you start to feel all of these different things, or it's getting really intense? Well, part of it is riding it out. That's the truth of it, is we do have to ride out some of these solar storms and ride out some of this energy, because it is a process. We can ask for assistance. We can ask our guides. We can ask to have them help tune it down, turn it down. Um, but we also can take action as well. So meditation, grounding ourselves, making sure that we are feeding our bodies and our minds and our souls. So, what are you doing for yourself spiritually? What are you doing for yourself emotionally? What are you doing for yourself mentally and physically? So it's that secret recipe of is there anything I'm not giving to myself that I really need? Because being in balance to the best of our ability is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
It's just my dog again.
Oh, um, when you say like, what do I need? I feel like I've been so distractible lately. I'm like, oh my gosh, it
Yeah.
is, it's bad. So, and I'm like, well, I've never been like this. Like, I just pick up my phone, then I pick up my phone, then I pick up my phone. You know, it's like I'll be like mid sentence typing, then I'll be like, oh, what about, like these thoughts are just flying through my head. Oh, I
Yes.
forgot to pay this bill. Or, oh, I forgot to
Yeah.
call so and so. Or, oh, I forgot to do
Yes.
this. Like, let me just. Oh, I want to look up what this means. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
super, super distractible. To the
Yeah.
point where I'm
And
like,
I
I
think
just need to like put my phone in the
that's
lockbox.
that's for a lot of us. Because it can take us more mindfulness or to be more attentive to when that's happening. And sometimes it's just okay just to let that happen. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like be human, allow yourself to go down that road of being distracted. Maybe you need a day like that, but if you have awareness around it, you want to look at, and this is something that was said to me once in meditation when I was asking, what can I do to increase my abilities? What can I do to speed up my manifestations? And the answer that I got back was, look at where you're distracted. Look at what you're distracted in. And are there things that you're kind of like petering out your energy in that can be pulled back? And so when I heard that, of course, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I think I'm doing pretty good. And that's the thing is we are all doing the best we can. We are all doing good. But, are you getting pulled off of a task? Are you trying to do something and it might be harder for one than another? So for me, because I can get distracted easily, it's been really important for me to keep a day planner with me, an actual physical day planner, so that when these thoughts pop up, when things pop up in my head, I can write, check this, do this. Like I just write it down on my day planner so that I'm getting it out of my head and then I get back on task to what I'm doing. Otherwise, there's so much distraction. It's funny that we're talking about that when all this distraction is happening in my home right now around me. We're having this conversation because distractions happen, right? Thoughts do pop in. We are
Yeah.
human. We are not necessarily superhuman. We're having a human experience. We have a brain, we have things going on around us. And yes, we are also mindful and we can meditate and all of these wonderful things that we're doing at the same time. But each day, so when I have like my day-to-day work that I'm doing, I know what I have to do. I know what's important to do. And if it's a day that it's really important that I complete something, then that's a day where I really have to be on top of myself. I'm sure, like, I don't have a diagnosis of ADHD, but I'm sure that had I have gone for a diagnosis, that would be a big yes, right? Because I can see how, and of course my children have been all diagnosed with it, so, and same with my husband. So chances are I do too. And I can see how much effort, how I had to really put that into motion with myself to create new habits, and they're things that for maybe some other people are really easy. And I've talked about it before, like days where I feel like I'm very distracted and feeling chaotic, where I'm actually saying, walk to the bathroom, brush your teeth. Like I'm going through the motions to ensure that I'm getting things done, because I can walk into a room and set something down and then hear a conversation over here and something else over here and then forget why I came in the room in the first place. And then I've got a pair of glasses in every room, like literally, because my reading glasses, because I forget where I set them down, and half the times the reading glasses are hanging on my shirt. I'm walking
Oh
around
my
the house looking.
gosh.
So today's turned into a conversation about distractions, but
Oh my
but
gosh.
when we have so many things going on, when we have solar storms, and we're working on our own spiritual journey, and then we've got whatever else is going on. Some of us have uh, a day job, a totally different job that we're doing, kids, family, responsibilities, all of these things. So it's really important that we be as compassionate with ourselves and easy on ourselves, but also to do whatever we can do in this moment so that our future selves will be very thankful that we set that up. So just for me, it's just writing everything down of every little thought. And some days it's I can ace it and I'm in a really great state. And there's other days where it's much harder. And that's okay. You know, as long as we are trying, as long as we are working towards it. But do you have any questions about the ascension? About any of that? Let me go over quite a bit of it.
Yeah, no, I think I got it. So, let me see if I can recap here. So you're saying, okay, maybe I can't recap. Okay, hold on. We've got the ascension, the physical symptoms, and
Yeah.
they are essentially the same as the actual ascension symptoms. What can
Yes.
we do? You can turn your volume up or down, you're
Yep.
saying, if
Yep.
you need those to be controlled.
Frequency. Listening to frequency is another good thing. So if we're feeling, if our stomach's upset, if we're having nausea or something like that, a really great thing that I love to do is listening to a frequency that's set for whatever the ailment is. And I mean, you can do that by searching on YouTube. You can use, like we talked about last week with the singing bowls, anything else like that to
Mhm.
help with intention to help settle down the frequency. I had a friend one time a few years back, I remember I guess more than a few years back in the beginning of my journey, I was sick. And every time this friend would come around me, I'd get sick. But she was a healer. And so what was happening is when she'd come around me, it was like purging, right? And
God,
this is
that's
at
so
the,
great. That's Isn't it like the energy vampire type things? I mean, it's like kind of the opposite of that because they
yes,
take your energy. But
yes, yes.
isn't it just so interesting that like she probably didn't even know she was purging on you?
Well,
And
she did because she used her singing bowl. And here's what's crazy, okay? She knew
okay,
that me being sick was part of her being around me. She said, like, she was actually working with me with Reiki at the time. This is at the very beginning of my awakening. And I remember this one time she was here and I was throwing up and she kept hitting the singing bowls and doing it. And every time she'd do it, I'd purge and was just throwing up. And
oh,
I'd feel so much
so
better
she's a
afterwards.
healer and she's healing you. So she's not giving you all the energy of collected clients.
No,
She's
yeah,
helping you purge your energy.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And she knew she was doing it. She knew she was doing it. And she was kind of making a joke, like every time she'd hit the bowl, I'd throw up, and I was. I literally did.
Want to get these singing bowls. They were just so powerful. Like I could
Yeah,
feel the
yeah,
power of them. I have them on my
yeah,
birthday wish list, so we'll see.
yeah, yeah. No,
But
I think you would really, really love that. I would love to get a bigger one. I'm really drawn to the crystal singing bowls. I think they're beautiful. Really
yes,
beautiful.
that's what's on my birthday wish list is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
like crystal ones. Yes.
yeah.
And they make I don't think they'd be out of like rose quartz, but they do make like pink ones and purple ones. They're very
Yes,
expensive though.
they are. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's made out of rose quartz crystal or something, but it's
I
just
I think they have them.
them.
And
Are
that's
they?
when we put it out on our manifestation list. Put it on it there. Universe, bring me a beautiful rose quartz singing bowl. I'll take one. I'll take one in every color, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Seriously.
it's very interesting, all the things that are going on in our body. And actually the one image that I just got right now is one of the easiest things to do is take a walk outside. If you can get outside and get some fresh air. right back to the
Mhm.
basics. We always talk about fresh air and grounding. Just being outside is a great way to cleanse our aura and just feel a little bit better.
And actually clear the germs as well
Yeah,
too, fresh
yeah,
air.
yeah, fresh air.
Um, yeah, that's so interesting. It's so interesting
Mhm.
how like what's good for your physical body is good for your spiritual body. Like they go together and
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
the same. So do you think that then this storm is going, like you're saying 2012 was like a marker? Do you think this
Hmm.
storm is going to be a marker,
Hmm. Yeah,
like an
because
ascension marker?
so what I feel is that right now is another big awakening. So there are people that are because I feel it in shifts. And it's interesting because even those that I connect with, it seems to go through shifts. Like I'll have people start coming to me that are just starting their journey, and then it'll kind of change for a while, and then another shift comes in where they're just beginning their journey again. So it's really interesting to see it, but I feel that this point right now is another big shift. And I'll tell you, just as I was thinking that this week on May the 14th, so that'll be tomorrow for when we're watching this on Tuesday, is the 10-year anniversary of my diagnosis for cancer. So,
Congratulations, Michelle. Like that
yeah.
you've, I don't know if that's the right thing you're supposed to say, but like
Well,
I'm just
it
so happy
marks,
you're here and
yeah,
it
yeah,
marks your awakening.
yes, it's a really big deal. And for our family, the day after I was diagnosed, we all went to the beach and we spent time at the beach together, and it was a weird day because we had a lot of unknowns and it was scary and that, but we talked with the kids, and I remember that day we were just reassuring the kids that this is a journey. We're starting a journey together and we're going to get through
Mhm.
this together. So we're going to go back to the beach together and we're going to celebrate it being 10 years and how far we've come. Oh,
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. You have the most beautiful story
yeah.
and the most beautiful family to share your story with. I'm so happy for you that you get to
Thank
do that
you.
with your family. That's
I'm very
really incredible.
grateful. Yeah, very grateful. It's been an amazing 10 years. It's been a wild ride. It definitely has taken me places that I could have never imagined that I would be. And I really look at this as being the beginning point to another 10 years of amazing things that I will look back at and go, wow, that's how it feels. It's an adventure, a beautiful adventure. Not always easy, but it's beautiful lately.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
So, okay, question.
yeah,
Back to that's making me think about your ascension. And so, if you feel these ascension symptoms, are you truly like ascending in vibration? Like that is what's happening?
yes. So what I've been shown is that so when light is information. So think of we are all vibrating. So even the earth, everything is vibrating in a completely different area. So we are moving as humanity, the earth is moving. And so as we are ascending as humanity, each of us individually are in different states of vibration, as we know. And so what's happening is as light penetrates the auric field, and as light enters, that's information, that's consciousness expansion. So when we have awareness to it and we're working towards it, it's like that amplifies. So that makes strength. So that's why it's like, well, why is this happening to this person? And then this person over here who has no idea really what's going on or not really paying attention in that direction, why are they not experiencing it? Well, they will be in their own way, and they may be experiencing symptoms they just don't have awareness to, and they're not describing it in that way. But if you have awareness and you're actively working on your spiritual journey, there's an amplification. And so it's like a speed, a momentum to it. So it's like you're, just like in the beginning of my journey, they said, are you ready for this? Are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yes. But that's, it's because things start to speed up, and once you step in, it's like there's no turning back.
Mhm.
Once you're on the roll, you're on the roll. But what was the question again? Now I'm distracted. I'm distracted. What did you say? What, now I'm trailing off into other things.
Just
Wow. Right.
are we truly ascending?
Right. Yes, we are. So when the
Mhm.
light penetrates, what happens is it the density. So let's say we have, when I say density, like just like when we talk about the chakras, if there is something stored, so we're attached to something that it no longer fits the version of us that we're vibrating towards. If that attachment is there, it's a heavier energy. And so that new light comes in because we're wanting to lift to this next version. So that needs to be released. And that's where we have situations, illnesses, different situations in relationships, or whatever transpires in our life, to help us be able to navigate through, to be able to really see what who is me now, who who is the me that I am working towards. And so, like I've always said, what's the distance in between? So yes, we are all ascending, but because we are on a physical material plane, we go through the step one, step two, step three type. It's not a linear path, right? Nothing is a straight line, but we're going through that physical of it. We're going through the experience of everything. So yes, we are actually all ascending. So we could say, light, I'm lightening, I am growing in consciousness. Ascension can also be a feeling of going forward and then feeling like you're going backwards. And that's not really happening. It's just a sensation, because think about labor, right? So, when you're in labor and you have a baby, so the baby, if you're having the baby, say naturally, you're pushing the baby out, and it's like this, out and back, out and back. So think of this the same way with the ascension. It's like a put, and then you birth a new version of yourself. And then once again, you start to get comfortable in this area, and then you start to go the back and forth again. So that's why when a lot of people be like, I've worked so hard, I thought everything was going well, and then boom, this all started to happen. Well, because everything is connected, and say you're in you start to feel that there's a heaviness, and like, oh, I've gone backwards, I feel disconnected. Well, that's not really true. You're actually birthing into this new version of yourself. And so it may be kind of a repeat, or like think of when you study and they have like the end of the, what do they call it? Oh gosh, I want to say chapter, but when you study different units. That's what I'm looking for. You have different units of study. So let's say it's like a review. So you can have a review of something that you've experienced before. So if you think about what you've gone through and you're releasing something and you go, well, I thought I got rid of that and it happened again. That's a moment in time where you're about to ascend to another vibration, another shift. And so you can look back and say, okay, this is happening again. This gives me an opportunity to use what I've learned and apply it to this situation and do it differently this time. And then once you do that, you'll notice it will start to clear, and all that work will help you ascend to a higher location. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I feel like that is me, honestly. Because when I was like, oh, like, the geomagnetic storm and there's going to be ascension symptoms, I'm like, oh, great, bring them on. I can't wait to ascend. And then, like, I think about myself, I tell you this a lot too. Like, when I first had my awakening and how, like, intense my ascension symptoms were, and like, the things around me that would happen, and I kind of like get sad when I think that that's like there was just magic in the air. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And um so, and it all happened around my birthday, and my birthday's coming up. And so it's like this time of year, every year, I'm kind of like, oh, but remember last year? So, or it wasn't last year, but whatever year that was. I think I'm coming up on 3 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but like my garden, I planted this garden, and all the neighbors were, I do not have a green thumb. And all the neighbors were like, oh my gosh, what are you doing in your garden? And I'm like, I don't know. And then my mom gave me birthday flowers, and they started growing. Like people give me birthday flowers and they die like that day I get them.
Yeah.
And they still do. But like whatever reason that birthday, they just were like growing like weeds. I'm like,
Yeah.
never seen something grow in a vase before. And remember I had the little geese circle around my house and like give me like a
Yes.
little birthday parade. And
Yes.
now I see
Yes.
the geese and they honk at me and they're so mad. And I'm like, remember when you gave me a birthday parade? And so
What day is your birthday?
it's on the 24th. So it's
On the
coming up.
20th. Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, maybe they'll give you a birthday parade this year. Maybe you'll get a
I
different.
hope.
Eric will give you a birthday parade.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Yes.
I like can see him with the little like stick, like
Yeah. Yeah.
doing like
Yes.
the
Yeah. Marching.
anyways, what else happened? Oh well, obviously my necklace, like that was
Yes.
incredible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so and then you feel all that and like you just feel like you just like witnessed 10 miracles, and then
Yeah.
now I'm just living a little normal
Well, that's
life.
also the momentum too, right? Like that, like I always talk about the beginning of my awakening, and I, I couldn't even, I felt like I wasn't even in reality in the beginning because I was seeing so much. Like I was seeing sparks going off in the air and eyes blinking on the wall and like all kinds of stuff that it was just like I had to keep checking myself. But that those type of things happen at the beginning of our journey. So if like any of us could look back and see that there may be a period where a lot of things were happening and then it kind of settles out. But that happens also to show you, it gives you that drive, that pull. That's like lighting the fire. It's all part of the process so that we can see these other realities. It has an impact on us, but it doesn't always stay like that because that's where we have to put in the work with our vibration to continue to work with it and grow. My throat chakra is really going right now. To work with it and grow. And it's not that those things won't happen. It's not that we won't go through periods like that again, but that's not always the day to day, quite like that. But it still can happen. But it is interesting because I don't think we can really compare how one of us walks our path of ascension to another, because there are so many things that are very personal to each one of us. But there is a generalized, I find just from talking to many people, there is a generalized pattern to it that many of us experience. And it's not a linear path, but I would say this is definitely the best adventure I have ever been on. And that doesn't mean it hasn't been painful, but it is the best adventure ever. And it does get better, it does get easier.
I truly am so proud of you, Michelle.
Thank you.
You have just, led the way and shined a light for so many of us. And because you were brave,
Mhm.
you're gonna make me cry. We all
Oh,
get to be brave because
yeah.
we've seen
Thank you.
you. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so
Thank you so
happy for
much.
you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy you just had enough intuition to follow your heart and, do what felt right and
Yeah.
heal yourself, heal your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And
Yeah,
put
we're
them on this
definitely in a
amazing path.
better place. Yeah. Definitely a better place. And to me, I think for the longest time, the biggest gift is feeling that sense of peace. Like I don't live in fear anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to live in so much fear. And it doesn't mean I don't feel that. Like fears still pop up, but I don't exist in it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know it's not just the information, but it's the experience. And I'm so grateful. Like that to me, that's success. That to me is pure success, is being able to live in a state of peace and a state of acceptance for myself. Because I think the biggest lesson I've learned over this last 10 years has really been to accept myself where I am, no matter where that is. That I don't any longer really live on anybody else's schedule of where I need to be or what I need to be. But I feel like I really know myself so much better than I ever did. And that is that's what I want to gift to everybody, is
The
accepting
rest.
where you are. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because that's the secret recipe to everything else. And you can give that to yourself and practice on giving that to yourself. Everything else will continue to unfold. You just have to keep trusting in it, keep working at it, keep facing the hard things, face the shadows, face the fears, look at them and love them, hug them, because we all have lightness and dark within us. It's part of being human. We can't pretend it's not there, but when we're willing to look at it and love it and walk through it, there is another side to it. And there is a lighter way to exist. And I just don't know how I could live any other way now. There just is no other way for me. So I am so happy and feel so fortunate to have everybody to walk through this with me, because it's such a great feeling to know that we're not doing this alone, not only with spirit, but that we have so many others around us that are going through it too, and that we can share these things with each other. It's really amazing. So thank you, and thank you to everybody watching too and listening.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I'm giving you a hug. I'm giving you a hug.
Yeah, I know I'm all goosebumpy. Well, on
I'm
that note, I've got to find out what my dog got into. I'm not really sure. She's wandered off into one of the girls' bedrooms and she dragged something out, and I don't see her any longer. So I
Oh
suppose I should
no.
go take care of that, and she can make her debut
Yeah.
the next time.
Oh, please, please, please. Yes, we
Yes,
have to see
yes,
her.
she's a cutie. She's a cutie. I don't know where she is
Okay.
now. Anyway, well,
All right.
I hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day, because since this is
Yes,
on
happy
after
Mother's
Mother's
Day
Day.
to all the moms out there.
Yes. All the moms, for every single one of you, no matter what position you're in, whether you're a mom or you're a mom to a pet, or you are mothering yourself, or you are being cared for by Mother Earth, take that mothering love from both Maren and I and apply that to yourself, because we love all of you. Happy Mother's Day, Maren.
Happy Mother's Day, Michelle. All right, I'll see you next week.
See you
Bye,
guys later.
everyone.
Bye.